Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Tyler from the Keep Pounding podcast. Hope you guys are doing well. And what an off season we've had so far. This is the best off season I can think of that I can. This is the best one. I honestly can't think of a better off season that we've had. Uh, honestly, we just with the direction that we're going, what Dan Morgan has done. I'm really excited about this upcoming season. Obviously, we still have needs, but they're attacking those needs. And we'll go over that and we'll go over those what we've done so far this week in free agency. So we'll recap some of the Panthers roster moves. We'll go over obviously Jaelan Phillips and Devin Lloyd, how that kind of really impacts the defense. The biggest needs we still need on this roster moving forward, and then just how Dan Morgan's roster building strategy has gone so far, and what are some potential draft options at pick 19. We'll go into that and just how the Panthers can continue to build towards a stronger 2026 season. So I'm really excited about it. And there's been a lot of moves since I've talked to you guys last week. So let's get into it. So a couple players that have signed with other teams. It was sad to see Cade Mays leave, but it made sense. I feel like the writing was on the wall there. You can't pay everybody. We got $80 million in the offensive line, and it just makes sense that we're going to want to get younger. Definitely felt like there was a number that the Panthers wanted to re-sign him with, but there was obviously a cap to that, and I can't remember exactly what the deal was, but it wasn't too crazy. I think he averaged $8.5 million per year. And he signed a 3-year deal with the Detroit Lions, which he fits perfectly with. So, don't really miss any players when they leave out of here, but Cade Mays was definitely a fan favorite for me. So hate to see him go. Rico Dowdle, not the same sentiment with Cade Mays that I have for Cade Mays. I mean, with this one too, the writing was on the wall with he wanted to leave. He wanted to be the primary back. It wasn't going to happen in this offense. He did well for a couple games, and I wasn't a fan of some of the trash talk he was doing on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw that at all, but he was doing a little bit of trash talk with the Panthers, with some Panther fans, as far as, well, it's hard to play good whenever you're calling the same play over and over. It just, he definitely contributed to several wins for us, at least 2. That was with the Dolphins and the Dallas Cowboys. 2 31st and 32nd worst rush defense in the NFL, just saying. But Rico, he did his part. He did well. Glad that he found somewhere else to go, but he did mention he circled our team as far as the upcoming season. I guess we're playing the Steelers. I haven't even looked really at the schedule, to be honest with you, but I guess we're playing the Steelers this season. He's got us penciled in, and I hope the new defense look forward to hitting them a little bit. So Rico Dowdle is with the Steelers, which it makes sense with that running, how they want to be able to run the football physically. That makes sense. So Rico Dowdle to the Steelers. And then one thing that we talked about last week was A'Shawn Robinson being a cap casualty. So we released A'Shawn Robinson. He is now a Buck. So he is still in the NFC South. And this is somebody that it was a business decision. It wasn't based on how he played on the field, because on the field, he played really well. He was a very physical presence up the middle. He beat out Bobby Brown III, who I thought was going to take nose tackle, this season. A'Shawn Robinson played really well. And again, this is a business, and it just makes sense. We got depth there. Turk Wharton hopefully stays healthy. We have Bobby Brown III. We have Cam Jordan. We have the draft. Maybe we still get somebody in the draft. There's DJ Reader that will, possibly we could sign. That's still out there. So this was just strictly a business decision, saving money. So again, he played very well for us, but he is now an SC South division rival. So again, really liked him, but was hoping that he stayed. But at the same time, it makes sense why they let him go. But definitely not looking forward to seeing him twice a year. So he is now with the Bucks. But again, cap casualty makes sense. Now, with some of the players that we have, the internal moves that we made, some resignings. So we re-signed Nick Scott. He had a 1 year, up to $3.25 million deal. He's the top communicator in the secondary. He played almost every snap on the defense last year, and I get like people aren't the biggest fan of Nick Scott. I understand, but also he wasn't a bum either. He yes, he had some busted coverages, but he also made some big plays. So if you guys remember the Green Bay game, the fumble that he created in the red zone when the Packers were about to score, if he didn't make that play, we wouldn't have won that game. So I get like we can get better at that position, but we could also be worse off. And then I don't know if you guys saw, but the NFL implemented a performance based pay like incentive that I guess it's something that the collective bargaining agreement agreed upon, where there's roughly in that pot of money, it's $502 million, and it's based on basically for someone that is making a low amount of money that's playing higher reps, a lot of snaps. So Nick Scott was fourth, according to Joe Person, on this list, and he got a $1.26 million payout in that program. So this guy isn't a bum. That's all I'm trying to say. We paid him not that much money, and he contributed a lot. Yes, he's got some coverage issues. As a free safety, you shouldn't be letting a tight end beat you over the top. I get that, and we're not done. Maybe Lathan Ramson will beat him out in camp. This is somebody that could just be potentially a depth piece, but also it's somebody that if he does start, it's not the worst thing in the world. Again, things can get better, and I know people don't like Nick Scott, but this guy isn't a bum. Okay, so we got him back. You got David Moore that they signed to I don't know if it was a vet deal, maybe a little bit more on that, but obviously that makes sense with the familiarity with Canales in that offense. They re-signed James Mitchell, who played for us 5 games last season when Tommy Tremble was injured. He's obviously familiar with the offense, a reliable catcher and route runner. He's a great blocker, so this is a depth piece that potentially, him and JT Sanders, we'll see how JT Sanders does in camp, because that's somebody that kind of has underplayed this past season. He was somebody that I was hoping that would take a step up, and he took a step back. So this is a depth piece for competition. Again, we're still looking at some guys at tight end. We can still draft the tight end, but James Mitchell is a good re-sign there. Thomas Nkum, re-sign, reliable special teams contributor there. Isaiah Simmons, obviously special teams as well. He had that notable block field goal in the wild card game versus the Rams. They re-signed Travis Gibson, which I was excited about. This provides some depth at pass rush. He's obviously, to me, a pass rush specialist, but he did show some promise while playing time with the playing time that he got. You have LeBrian Ray, Robert Rochelle, both that return as depth rotational players and special team contributors. So several familiar faces there for depth and competition. So these are some things that we've done internally. And then some unsigned free agents that are still out there. So Brady Christensen, I feel like, is on the top of this list. He's the one that had the Achilles tear back in week 8. Mike K did report that he should be cleared to participate in training camp in July. So this is somebody that I feel like the Panthers obviously want us to re-sign. He played really well at guard whenever Robert Hunt was out. I felt like I think he had his best year playing last year. And this is somebody that can play every position on the line. So we had several injuries last year, him being one of them. You had Robert Hunt, a few injuries with Icky, Damian Lewis, Taylor Moton. So this is always nice to have, and what you want as a depth piece is somebody that can play multiple positions and plug in and not really be a liability when he comes in. So this is somebody that I hope we are able to re-sign. Austin Corbett, I really don't see that unless it's just a vet minimum. Jake Curhan, he did okay whenever he was in, but somebody that, if it's a cheap deal and it's a body in camp, sure. Chris Barnes, Christian Roseboom is somebody that I'd actually like us to re-sign, not to start, obviously, but as a depth piece, which is what we wanted whenever we signed him at the beginning before Josie Jewell retired from the concussion that he had. You have DJ Wanham. I don't think he'll re-sign, to be honest with you. And then Demario Mathis, the corner, and the safety D'Anthony Bell. So Brady Christensen is somebody that I would feel like would be the next on the list as far as signings this free agent offseason period. But we'll see. The fact that I don't think there'll be a big market out there for him. It wouldn't surprise me if there's a few teams that are interested because he had a very good year last year before the injury. So, but with the injury, I feel like that might hurt him a little bit. So I can see him come back on another 1 or 2 year deal with like $2-3 million for the year. So, and honestly, I feel like his earnings that since he's been in the league is kind of low. I feel like he could have earned a lot more money, but for some reason, he just really hasn't had a market out there. So those are the guys that we've signed that are left that were on our team last year. Now on to some free agent signings. So we just re-signed, and it's official today, John Mechie the third. So John Mechie, he's 5'11", 187 pounds. He's still young. He's 25. He played with Bryce in Alabama. To me, this signing definitely there was some Bryce influence there. He was drafted in the second round by Houston. If you guys remember, he's the one that had leukemia his rookie year and missed his whole rookie year. And then recently, Houston traded him to Philly back in August last offseason. And then back in October, Philly and the Jets did a trade for position weaknesses. So last year with the Jets, he had 33 receptions for 274 yards, 2 touchdowns, and averaged 8.3 yards per reception. He's, to me, he's a really polished route runner. He's not super fast. Like he doesn't have a blazing speed, but he runs a 4.48. He has really good awareness, especially in zone coverage. He's able to find soft spots in the zone. He has quick feet. He can stop and go very quickly. He's capable both of playing inside and outside in the slot. And again, not elite speed, but someone that can compete for that wide receiver 3. So you're going to have Xavier Legette, Devin Moore. You got John Mechie. You have Jimmy Horn Jr. So we have a lot of competition at wide receiver 3 position. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Excuse me. This offseason at wide receiver 3. We'll see if Xavier Legette can step up, but it wouldn't surprise me, depending on, it wouldn't surprise me if there is, I don't know if there's going to be any teams that are possibly willing to want to trade for XL. I know that was a talking point that I had and a few other fans had out there earlier this season, but really haven't heard any reports of that. Not that that's not going on behind the scenes, but it wouldn't surprise me if they feel comfortable with John Mechie maybe early in camp. If they're like, hey, this is to be a wide receiver 3 guy, and like, okay, let's get something for XL. So, but we'll see. If that doesn't happen, then obviously that's a lot of competition at wide receiver 3. But a couple of knocks on him is he's had some drop balls. That's a concern. And also, but outside the leukemia, he did have an ACL tear his last year in Alabama, which obviously affected his draft stock. But this is someone that, again, adds competition, has a relationship with Bryce. Let's see if that connection can reunite and, kind of ignite this offense a little bit more. So then the other guy we signed today, Sam Martin, the punter. So he obviously fills another need. Punter was something that we needed. He's a really reliable, and he's been very consistent for us this past season. He signed a 2-year, $5 million deal. I don't know what the guarantees were, but he's going to be our punter for this upcoming season in 2027. I feel like he did a really good job pinning opposing teams inside the 20. Hopefully we don't have to use him that much this upcoming season, but he's someone that you can rely on to help with field position. So Sam Martin's our punter for the next couple of years. And then one thing I didn't expect was Josh Nijman retiring. So he was drafted back in 2019 with the Packers, and then we picked him up back in 2024, and then he played for us last year as well. So I was hoping that we would be able to re-sign him as a stopgap guy for Icky. So whenever, but I don't know if it was based on the timing, if it was just he was looking to see what his market was out there, if maybe he was willing to do another year, if the contract offers they're worth it for him or not. But I don't know if that's something the Panthers knew about or not. But Josh Nijman is officially retiring. And so when that happened, we signed this guy, and the fan base was losing it, bro. Like the fan base was not having it. This guy, he was drafted back in Seattle when Dave Canales and Dan Morgan were there. He signed a 1-year, $2 million deal, only $1 million guaranteed. Again, this is just a cam body, someone just to provide competition, maybe depth, but hopefully we don't need to have him at depth. But he's just a cam body for now. He did play for the Raiders, and you know a lot of people are like, oh, the Raiders had a really bad offensive line, which was true. But looking at all of his years that he's played since he's been in the league, he hasn't been that great. Back in 2024, he primarily played at right tackle. Played 9 games. He allowed 35 pressures in the first 6 weeks, with 27 of those coming in a 3-game span while he was playing through an injury, supposedly. Back in 2023, he had a 55.2 overall PFF grade. And again, like I understand why fans are like, oh no, like this guy can't be protecting Bryce. But I would just, what I was trying to relay to a lot of people is you need to relax. Do we really think Dan Morgan and Brand Tillis are going to allow him to be starting left tackle? They obviously had a plan, right? Which we'll go into in just a second. But this is a guy that is just a camp body. There's no way Dan and Brand were going to leave the left tackle position the way it was based, and Stone Forsyth was the left tackle. So, but again, everybody was just freaking out until we signed this guy, Rasheed Walker. He played for the Packers last year. He was supposedly the best free agent left tackle in the market. This is definitely your stopgap guy. And also, this is someone that you can possibly re-sign if he plays well, and if Icky doesn't get back to this form the way he was before the injury. So he signed a 1-year, $2 million deal. And again, this is someone that, unless there's a tackle that we get in the first round, this is probably going to be our left tackle week 1. And this isn't a bad left tackle at all. This guy, he played really well for the Packers. And from what I recall, like he was a 7th round pick. And then I remember the Packers, I don't remember the left tackle's name, but he was almost beating out the other left tackle before he got injured there. That was a 1st round pick. So he had an overall 65 PFF grade, which is in the middle of the pack there. He's a better pass blocker than run blocker, but someone that, he's young. He's only 26. He's 6'6", 324 pounds. He's a big guy. And he's been getting better each year. This is somebody that, possibly could continue to improve, and, maybe we possibly resign him, moving forward if Icky doesn't get back to form. Maybe it's somebody that we could have as depth as well. Who knows? But he only allowed 1 hit. He allowed 34 total pressures, which, wasn't great. He was 67th in the league with that. He had 9 penalties. He definitely had some penalties. Sacks, he allowed 5 last year. And I can't remember how many games played he had. Let me see. He was 25th in the league with offensive snap plays. So, but yeah. So this is somebody that's like not the best left tackle in the world, but he's someone that's serviceable until you're able to figure out the Icky situation, or if you draft the left tackle in the 1st round. So now that we sign Rasheed Walker, people can calm down a little bit. And then the other guy that we signed was Luke Fortner. So Luke, he signed a 1-year, $4.75 million deal. I'm not sure what the guaranteed money is, but he was drafted by the Jags back in 2022. He spent 3 years with them before he was traded to New Orleans. Last season, he only gave up 4.3% pressure rate, which was the 8th fewest among centers last year. I still think like center can be something that we attack in the draft, but this is somebody, again, it's a stopgap guy. If we're able to get somebody in the draft, I think we'll do that. I do think that's a strong possibility, but if not, maybe we get center in the draft next year. Maybe we resign him for another year. But this is just something that's just kind of putting a band-aid on it until we're able to get a long-term guy. Or, sometimes you have to do this every year. You have to kind of patch things up just to get by. You can't fill everything. You can't do everything. But this is somebody I feel pretty confident about. I feel like he is a good to get. Again, I think he's more of a pass blocker than a run blocker. But he's definitely serviceable. He's a good player in my opinion. PFF ranked him 7th in pass block. All right, can you guys hear me? I don't know what happened there. I got kicked off for some reason. Make sure I'm good. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, I think I'm good. Okay. I don't know what happened there. Okay. All right. So as I was saying, so we re-signed Kenny Pickett. Let me just again make sure before I keep going. If you guys can hear me in the chat, let me know. Um Can you guys hear me? Okay, there we go. Okay. Technical issues. Sorry about that. Okay. So we re-signed Kenny Pickett. I know a lot of Panther fans are not happy about that, but again, they talked about how they want to get younger. They want to get younger at quarterback too. Andy Dalton was somebody that, uh, wasn't playing well at all. Obviously, he's gonna be someone that we're going to release. I think he's probably gonna be done. I don't see another team signing him. I know that the Panthers and Dan Morgan talked about that they would like to. He was seeking a trade. I just don't see that happening at all. They're going to definitely release him by post June 1st cut because they'll be saving a little bit extra money on the dead cap if they do so. So, I do think this is probably and could be his last season. Was last season, but we'll see. But Kenny Pickett, again, he's obviously not the best backup quarterback in the world, but he's, I think, serviceable. He kind of has the same skill set as Bryce. He's elusive. He can be accurate at times, but he just adds valuable experience, good mobility. Just somebody that, hey, can you at least be serviceable and not lose us multiple games if Bryce is out for 2, 3, 4 weeks. So I do think I can't remember exactly what he signed for, Let me see. I don't remember what his deal was. I think it was a 1 year deal as well. Let me see. Yeah, he signed a 1 year, $7.5 million deal with $4 million in guaranteed money. So, which is very cheap. So, I don't see us drafting a quarterback or anything, but I do see us like as the quarterback market every season, see who's out there and then upgrade if we need to. But this is somebody that, um, dude. Okay, what is going on with my? I don't know. I'm getting some. I don't know what's going on with my internet. Okay. Um, Sorry about that, guys. But again, hopefully we don't have to see him. Hopefully he doesn't have to be on the field. So that's Kenny Pickett. And then we obviously one of the big signings we had was Devin Lloyd. So Devin Lloyd, forgot to put a picture up there, but obviously he's an instant upgrade to this room. Instant upgrade. So he's a leader for the defense. He's a tone setter. He's a hard hitter. He's smart. He diagnoses plays well. He really excels in coverage. He had 5 interceptions with the Jags last season. He had 1 interception, if you remember, when they played against the Chiefs. He took it to the house for a 99 yard interception for a touchdown. He has elite production since he's been with the Jags. He, according to PFF, they ranked him as the third inside linebacker in the NFL last year. You can use this guy for blitzing. He had a career high 24 pressures and 10 QB hits last year. He's very durable. He's only missed 5 games his entire career. He missed 2 last season with a calf injury. He's had some bumps and bruises, but overall, this guy hasn't had any major injuries, and he's a very serviceable player. So this is somebody that obviously I'm excited about us signing and having for several years, and hopefully he continues to play at the level he was last year with the Jags, and we can re-sign him to an extension and him being a part of this defense for the foreseeable future. And then obviously the biggest upgrade was Jaelan Phillips. So this was obviously a huge need at edge. We ranked pretty much second to last season with our pressure rate, sack production. It just, you had Pat Jones that was out. Nick Scorton was your edge one. He's a rookie. You had Princely. That's pretty much your edge three. DJ Wanham, that's below mid. It didn't look good. So you had to go out and this was your biggest weakness, and you had to attack it, which was what the Panthers did the first day in free agency. So he was obviously the top free agent on their board, according to reports. And this guy, again, he doesn't have the most sacks in the world. He had 5 sacks last season. He had a forced fumble, but the biggest thing for him is pressure rate. So his pressure rate is at 18.8%. He had 73 total pressures last year, ranking him 4th highest among players with 250 pass rush reps in the NFL. When you put him inside, his interior pressure rate is 33.3% when rushing from inside. So this guy, you can use him as a chess piece. You can move him all around the field. You can drop him out back in coverage, which is obviously not a lot of Panther fans want, but you can use him as a chess piece. This guy is very versatile. He will create more opportunities for other players like Nick Scorton, Princely, Pat Jones, but can he stay healthy? He's had several injuries. He had the ACL tear, the was it the Achilles tear? He mentioned during, and he can give you 8, 9, 10 sacks, but keep that pressure rate. This is a win for us because this defense as a whole has vastly improved, even obviously from 2 years ago, but compared to last year, even much so. So, and we're still not done. We still have free agency. Still, there's some people that we still possibly get out there. We have the draft, so this is something I'm excited about. This defense should be a top 10 defense. They should. There's no more excuses forever. You have a top edge, you got a top inside linebacker, you got one of the best, probably the top 3 corner duos in the NFL. You have Trayvon Moehrig, that's an elite safety. Derek Brown. come on, bro. This should, they potentially can be a top 5 defense if things click and go well. So, obviously he was the biggest signing, but we still have needs. We still have needs out there. I think the biggest thing right now that we need is a nickelback. I don't really see the Panthers sticking with Shaw Smith Wade. He's there, but he struggled a lot last year. Safety, I don't think we're going to pick up another safety in free agency, but I do think the safety could be something that we target in the draft, potentially even the first round. So, safety, I feel like is a need. Interior defense alignment, we let go of Ashawn Robinson. So now we have Turk Warren, who's injury prone, that didn't play much last year. You have Bobby Brown III, who is a really good pass rush nose tackle. But let's see how he plays against the run. But interior defense alignment, we could use some depth there. Obviously, left tackle, long term, that's a question mark. What are we going to do long term at that position? Same thing with the center. What are we going to do long term there as well? I also can see us could we get another tight end? We've been in contact. There have been reports that have been in contact with David Njoku. I believe he would play for the Browns last year. I can't remember. Tight end there. Again, JT Sanders, I still think there's a possibility that he could, depending on how he performs this offseason, that he possibly could not even make the 53-man roster, depending on how things shake out. Obviously, offensive line depth. Can we re-sign Brady Christensen? Inside linebacker depth. Can we re-sign Christian Roseboom? Do we sign another wide receiver? There's according to Mina Kimes, she's like, hey, Deebo Samuel could potentially be a fit. I don't really see that happening, but we do need a yards after catch guy. I don't think that Deebo is obviously a physical wide receiver, and he doesn't have elite speed. He runs the same speed as John Mechie, 4.48. But he would be obviously a vast improvement for a yak wide receiver. But I really think that they're going to be looking for speed versus Deebo Samuel, in my opinion. Running back, are they really content with Chuba, Brooks, and Etienne? I don't think they are. I don't, possibly we could get another running back free agent signing, maybe. But I think it'll be more so in the draft or undrafted free agent type of deal. But I don't think that they will leave it the way it is. I do think they will attack that position as well. So definitely some things that we still can improve upon. But again, overall, this is a really good upgraded Panthers roster. So I'm excited about it. Looking forward to this season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and let me know what your grades are. To me, Dan Morgan's, it was a solid A, maybe A-, because you have the gamble with Jaelan Phillips. That's the only thing I really have not a knock, but it's just a concern is with that contractors giving him a 4-year, $120 million contract with $80 million guaranteed. Can he live up to it? So, but I love that what he's done so far. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you would grade Dan Morgan overall, and also what you would grade him for all the other players that we signed as well. So, again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. I appreciate the support, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.